in the dark mystery of this fascinating whole. Here is the end for me, if I want it. Here is the ceasing, when I want it. And I lean over and smile quietly. No flowers, I say softly to myself. No weeping idiots, no senseless funeral, no oily undertaker fussing over my woman's body, no useless Christian prayers. Nothing but this deep, dark, restful grave. No one would ever find it. It is 1.5 miles from any house. The water, the dark, still water at the bottom, would gurgle over me and make an end quickly. Or if I feared there was not enough water, I would bring with me a syringe and some morphine and inject an immense quantity into one white arm, and kneel over the tender darkness until my youth-weary, waiting-worn senses should be overcome and my slim, light body should fall. It would splash into the water at the bottom. It would follow the little stones at last, and the black, muddy water would soak in and begin the destroying of my body, and murky bubbles would rise so long as my lungs continued to breathe. Or perhaps my body would fall against the side of the hole, and the head would lie against it out of the water. Or perhaps only the face would be out of the water, turned upward to the light above. Or turned half down, and the hair would be darkly wet and heavy, and the face would be blue-white below it, and the eyes would sink inward. The end, I say softly and ecstatically. Yet I do not lean farther out. My hand does not loosen its tight grasp on the wooden stake. I am only flirting with death now. Death is fascinating, almost like the devil. Death makes use of all his arts and wiles, powerful and alluring, and flirts with deadly temptation for me. And I make use of my arts and wiles, and tempt him. Death would like dearly to have me, and I would like dearly to have him. It is a flirtation that has its source in mutual desire. We do not love each other, Death and I. We are not friends. But we desire each other sensually, lustfully. Sometime I suppose I shall yield to the desire. I merely play at it now, but in an unmistakable manner. Death knows it is only a question of time. But first the devil must come. First the devil, then death. A deep, dark, soothing grave, and the early evening, and a little folding of the hands to sleep. February 12th. I am in no small degree, I find, a sham, a player to the gallery. Possibly this may be felt as you read these analyses. While all of these emotions are written in the utmost seriousness and sincerity, and are exactly as I feel them, day after day, so far as I have the power to express what I feel, still I aim to convey through them all the idea that I am lacking in the grand element of truth, that there is in the warp and woof of my life a thread that is false. False. I don't know how to say this without the fear of being misunderstood. When I say I am in a way a sham, I have no reference to the truths as I have given them in this portrayal, but to a very light and subtle thing that runs through them. Oh, do not think for an instant that this analysis of my emotions is not perfectly sincere and real, and that I have not felt all of them more than I can put into words. They are my tears, my life-blood. But in my life, in my personality, there is an essence of falseness and insincerity. A thin, fine vapor of fraud hangs always over me, and dampens and injures some of the things in me that I value. I have not succeeded thoroughly in analyzing this. It is so thin, so elusive, so faint, and yet not little. It is a natural thing enough viewed in the light of my other traits. I have lived my 19 years buried in an environment at utter variance with my natural instincts, where my inner life is never touched and my sympathies very rarely, if ever, appealed to. I never disclose my real desires or the texture of my soul. Never, that is to say, to anyone except my one friend, the anemone lady. And so every day of my life I am playing a part. I am keeping an immense bundle of things hidden under my cloak. When one has played a false part, all one's life, for I was a sly, artful little liar even in the days of 5 and 6, then one is marked. One may never rid oneself of the mantle of falseness, charlatanry, particularly if one is innately a liar. A year ago, when the friendship of my anemone lady was given to me, and she would sometimes hear sympathetically some long silent bit of pain, I felt a snapping of tense-drawn cords, a breaking away of floodgates, and a strange, new pain. I felt as if I must clasp her gentle hand tightly and give way to the pent-up, surging tears of 18 years. I had wanted this tender thing more than anything else all my life, and it was given me suddenly. I felt a convulsion and a melting within, but I could not tell my one friend exactly what I felt. There was no doubt in my own mind as to my own perfect sincerity of feeling, but there was with it and around it this vapor of fraud, a spirit of falseness that rose and confronted me and said, "Hypocrite! Fool!" It may be that the spirit of falseness is itself a false thing. Yet, true or false, it is always with me. I have tried in writing out my emotions to convey an idea of this sham element while still telling everything faithfully true. Sometimes I think I have succeeded, and at other times I seem to have significantly failed. This element of falseness is absolutely the very thinnest, the very finest, the rarest of all the things in my many-sided character. It is not the most unimportant. I have seen visions of myself walking in various pathways. I have seen myself trying one pathway and another, and always it is the same. I see before me in the path, darkening the way and filling me with dread and discouragement, a great black shadow, the shadow of my own element of falseness. I cannot rid myself of it. I am an innate liar. This is a hard thing to write about. Of all things it is the most liable to be misunderstood. You will probably misunderstand it, for I have not succeeded in giving the right idea of it. I aimed at it and missed it. It eluded me completely. You must take the idea as I have just now presented it for what it may be worth. This is as near as I can come to it, but it is something infinitely finer and rarer. It is a difficult task to show others a thing which, though I feel and recognize it thoroughly, I have not yet analyzed for myself. But this is a complete portrayal of me as I await the devil's coming, and I must tell everything, everything. End of Part 7.